Yeah, okay, so. Alright guys, so I got the head pulled out here. I'm sorry I kind of skipped a lot again. So that's where that oil gallery goes, or whatever the heck it's called. And then what I had to do was take out the rocker arms. And I believe they were just 10mm bolts. And you can see right there, so on and so forth. And then what I did is once I got those 10mm bolts up, I just slightly pried on it a little bit and just kind of underneath it, and it came up real easily. And then I lifted it out as one assembly. So these are the bolts right here that hold them down. I kept them in line. So this is the front of the engine working your way back. And then these right here, these brackets go underneath the rocker arm assembly. And then you got your push rods. I pulled my push rods up, put them out. So they all look the same length to me, but I'm keeping them like that and putting them right back in how they go. So once I got there, oh, another thing I had to do was I had to take the alternator off. And you know, I could have gotten around taking the alternator off, but I took the alternator off. There's 4 bolts that hold the alternator on. It comes right off. And I took off the tensioner because there's a bracket right here for the cooling system that I took off, so that way it was easier to lift this head up and out. I think it can be done without that. I think you can get it up and out, but it was just in my way. So I went and took it off, and I was able to get it out. So this is the setup I used. You guys can laugh, but it worked. I put my chain going all the way across because you don't have a lot of room underneath there. So you can't just go from there to there and there to there. I had to do an A shape, and it worked. So, and when we pulled it up and out, it came up, and then we started twisting it this way. So you got the front of the bus right here, and it came up and out, and then we twisted it this way, came up and out, and then went back, and then backed up with the forklift. So once that came up and out, I was able to see that that there's a piston that is completely chipped off. So it was real obvious right away, which I thought it was going to take a little while. I thought it was going to be like a broken ring or something, which that still could be the case. Right there in 3, you can see that there's a chip. Right in there. So there's some sidewall damage, I believe. So I hope you guys can see that. If not, it's okay. Doesn't matter, it's there. So, and there's the bracket that holds the alternator, and the 4 bolts. I put them back after I took the alternator out. And then you also have your tensioner there I took off. I didn't need to do that. I thought that there's bolts that went all the way through, so you don't have to do that. And by the way, I was right. I didn't have to take off the exhaust, or I'm sorry, the intake manifold. I just had to disconnect it from the other piece there, the other bracket over there, and it worked good. The back of the engine, right there, you can see that I got it pulled back. Those wires and that tubing right there. There's I believe it's like a 10mm bolt that holds that bracket right there. That blue piece right there. It holds that to it. You got to take that off, and you also have a sensor down there that comes off. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So got that out. Came out real good. Now what I'm doing is I am taking out the pistons right now, and I'm going to change out the rod bearings, and I'm not going to change out the mains. I'm going to leave the mains because actually the bearings look okay. There's a little bit of scoring on them, not a lot. I mean, for 300,000 miles, that's not a lot. And if I want to go back in and roll those mains in, I will. But I'm not going to do it this time around. I don't got enough time. So I'm going to leave it as is. Plus, this is going to be an extra bus soon, so I'm not worried about it. It's needs to just get us another 50,000 miles, if that. So I'm going to take these out. I'm going to put them right here in line. I got them labeled. I recommend keeping all your stuff labeled. And yeah, that's about where I'm at right now. And you know, once I get those pistons out, there's a ridge up there. I don't know if you guys know what a ridge is, but you need a ridge reamer on the other side of the engine, not right here, but on the other side, on the top. You can rewind the video and see that there's a little bit of an edge right around. You got the sleeve. You got the this is actually the bottom of the sleeve, but say this is the top of the sleeve. You have to get a ridge reamer and cut that out so you can get that piston out. I'm going to try to just knock them out because I'm not going to reuse those pistons anyway, so I don't care. So we'll see how that goes. And then once the pistons are out, the rods are out, then I can take the sleeves out, put new sleeves in. So that'll probably be the next step, is showing you putting the sleeves in. Don't know if I'm going to show it. There's other videos on that, so I'm just trying to give you more of a step-by-step on how to do this so you can see a little bit. This is my first time doing this, so anyways, see you in my next video. Bye.